Hey, what's up guys? Sick Designs again, and today I will teach you how to make the animation I made in my last video. Um, if you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. It's called the Shattering Text, Slow Motion Shattering Text or something like that, or Text Shatter, I don't know. Um, just search for that on my channel. And for those of you that have already seen it, this is how you do it. With that said, let's go ahead and open up Cinema 4D. And when we go into our render settings here, once again, we're going to change this to 1280 by 720 so that we can render out this animation in high definition. Now keep in mind, in high definition, this will slow the rendering times down a little bit. And make sure you go down here to frame range and select all frames. Come down to save, and we'll go ahead and say this is an AVI movie since this is an animation. And when we click this option here, this is what we're going to name the video file. So whenever we render this out, this is what it's going to be called and where it's going to be saved. So I'm going to end up saving the video to my desktop. I'm going to call it text shatter, and just press save, and whenever we render this, that's where it's going to be, the video. So now we're going to come down to anti-aliasing, and just leave this, I was going to say best, but geometry is fine. If we use best, like for this, for example, the max level at 4x4 or something like that, that'll really slow our rendering times down. And it's really not necessary because you can still get a pretty good quality image. So I'm just going to leave it at geometry. And I'm going to come down to effect and add ambient occlusion and global illumination. And once again, speed up rendering times. We're going to come up to the irradiance catch and change the stochastic samples to low, the record density to low, and the smoothing to weak. Okay, and now we're going to go back into options here and change the ray depth to 2, change the reflection depth to 2, and the shadow depth to 6. Now, with the anti-aliasing set to geometry, shadows and reflections aren't going to look near as, I guess the edges of them aren't going to look near as smooth, but, you know, I mean, if you're willing to wait, I mean, doing this with geometry on, the lowest level of smoothing, my computer is pretty fast and was able to render it in about 14 hours and 4 minutes. So, I mean, if your computer's really fast and you know that, I mean, you can change this to best, but I really wouldn't recommend it because you're gonna really increase your render times here, and it'll take a lot longer to render out. So, all right. So once we're done with that, the very first step we're gonna do here is I'm gonna drop down a plane right here, just like that, by going to that option, dropping down a plane. And over here in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see a box that says width and a box that says height. I'm just going to go ahead and change both of these to about 3000, just so we kind of got a larger plane to work with here. Alright, so it should have something like that. And I'm going to go down here and double click here to create a new material. I'm going to click here to change the color. I'm actually just going to make this kind of a brighter white and bring the brightness up to about 110% here. And once that's done, just drag it onto the floor. And all I'm doing right here now is creating a good little studio, good little setup. Okay, and when we have our plane and a material put on there, we're going to right click on the plane, we're going to go to simulation tags, and we're going to add a collider body. And this will allow objects to interact with the plane without falling through them or falling through it and whatnot. So I'm actually going to use another preset like I used in a lot of my videos called um, Grayscale Gorilla HDR Light Kit, or Lighting Studio or whatever. And basically, this comes, in case you don't know, it comes with a lot of preset lighting. Um, yeah, just a lot of preset lights for you to use. Like if I just double click here, I now all of a sudden have a ring of light, as you can see there. And that'll actually cast some nice shadows and give me some pretty good light on my scene. I'm just going to go ahead and bring that down just a little bit. Alright, so I have that, and I'm going to do one more thing with Grayscale Gorilla and drop down a spotlight here. And this actual, I don't know, it's not really necessarily a plugin. I don't know what you'd really call it, but I guess an add-on maybe. This costs money. It is about 70, I think 70 or $75. You can get it off of grayscalegorilla.com. So just letting you know. So Cinema 4D by default is not going to have this. You have to put this in there by yourself, and it does cost money. So I'm just letting you guys know in advance. But so I basically got my little studio set up here the way I want it. And for those of you guys that don't have this, and I'm guessing probably a majority don't. Uh, all you really need to do here is go up to the light object and add a light, and that'll do pretty much. You know, uh, that'll do all right. You really don't need all this stuff. I just use it because I think it adds a nice touch to my scenes and stuff, but it really isn't necessary. Um, it's very optional. So, anyways, once you got your lighting set up or whatever, and you got your plane here, now we can go ahead and go up to MoGraph and go down to MoText and go ahead and make this whatever you want. I'm gonna make this say my name like always, and I'm gonna increase the depth to about 80 or so. This is all up to you guys, whatever you want this to be. And I'm gonna bring this up a little bit. And yeah, so we got that. And now we're gonna go down and change the font if you want to. And I don't know what font I want to make this. Let's see here. It's one I used in that video. So, you can see this is pretty sleek, thin text. It does look, it looks alright, but it actually works really good for what we're doing here. So, yeah, this is a good text to work with. It's called Steiner. Anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and create the material for our text here, and so let's go ahead and double click down here again. Go to color, and let's just make this a green, I guess, darker green. Now we're going to come down here to reflection, check that on, bring the brightness down to about 4%, go to the texture options and go down to Fresnel, and then bring the mix strength to about 4% as well. And we now have our texture created for our text. So just drag that onto the text, and you can now see that we have our text colored. And if we do a quick render preview of this, this is what we got. And like I stated earlier with the geometry anti-aliasing, you're going to get, you notice these shadows here are kind of jagged. If you change the anti-aliasing to best, that would get rid of that. But like I said, that'll really increase your rendering time. So it's optional. It really comes down to your computer speed and how long you're willing to wait for this animation to get done. Because this is going to be a fairly long animation. Um, so yeah, once we have that, we're going to come up to, you're going to need a plugin called Throwsy. And this is free. Get it off of nitro4d.com. And there's plenty of videos out there that show you how to install that. So I'm not going to cover that. But once we have Throwsy open, actually I need to select my text real quick. Select Throwsy. We're going to go to Dynamics and change the mode to On Collision. And let's just break this into 30 pieces. 30 is plenty. And just hit break now. And this plugin will automatically go through and break each individual piece into 30 pieces. Alright, so it just got finished. So that's good. So you can see here it broke each piece into 30 pieces, or each letter into 30 pieces. But if we play this play the animation here, nothing happens, which is good. So now we're gonna go ahead and go up to simulate. We're gonna go down to particles and emitter, and keep this in mind. I am in Cinema 4D R13, so in this release it may be a little bit different depending on which version of Cinema 4D you're using. And what I'm going to do here to get this exact is come down to the rotation here on the emitter, and I'm actually just going to change this directly to 90 and then press apply, and that'll make it exactly 90 degrees. And I'll just go ahead and slide this back out of the frame here, because everything you see inside these gray bars in here is what you're rendering. So even if you say I render preview this real quick, it's going to render this whole area here. But when this is actually complete, I'm not going to see the sides here, just what's here in the middle. So I'll show you what I'm talking about in case you don't understand. Alright, so pretty much from here left, I'm not going to see anything. And same for the right side here. And to the right, I'm not going to see anything. Just what's here in the middle. So always keep that in mind, that you keep whatever you want to be seen inside these gray bars here, because this is going to be cut off in the end. All right, so since I've got that explained, let's go ahead and go into our emitter options, and we're going to change the birth rate editor to 1, and then change the birth rate renderer to 1 as well. I'm going to leave the start emission at 0 frames and stop emission at, I don't know, it doesn't matter, just 2, because I'm only using 1 for this animation. We're going to select show objects here, and we're going to increase the speed to about 15,000 or so, or 1,500, my bad. And I think we're done there. That's really all we need to do. And we're going to come down here, and you can use any object you want. I'll just be using a sphere for this tutorial, just like I did in that last animation. And I'll bring it down to about that size. I'm going to come into my top view here and press E on the keyboard to go back to the move tool and just drag it over the text so it's kind of right in line with the text, and go back into our perspective view here so I know it's directly gonna hit the text in the center. Well, also, actually, I need to do that with the emitter as well, because the sphere is actually going to be coming out of the emitter. So we'll start it about right, because we want it to come out of the frame. So we'll start it about right there. And go back into our perspective view, now that we've got the emitter lined up. Now we're going to go ahead and apply material to the emitter. So double click down here, and this is going to go for the sphere. So this material is going to be applied to the sphere. So I'm going to make this a red sphere, kind of a darker red. I'm going to check on reflection again, change the brightness to about 4%, change the texture to Fresnel, and mix strength to about 4% as well. And we're good to go there. And we're just going to drag this onto the sphere. And so that's that. And now we're just going to take the sphere and we're going to make it, actually real quick, bring the segments up to about 50. That'll make the sphere a lot smoother and look less jagged. And once we have that, we'll take our sphere, click on it, and drag it till you see a down arrow, and that makes it a child of the emitter. And as you can see here, it actually disappeared, which is what we want it to do, so that's all right. And on the sphere here, we're going to right-click on the sphere, go to Simulation Tags, and make this a rigid body so that this actually has physics applied to it and dynamics. So if we play this, you can see there I actually had it facing the wrong direction. Sometimes that happens. You just have to rotate it around. So I'm actually going to try, let's see, I need to rotate the emitter around. So let's do 270. And that should work. Yeah, so use 270. And as you can see there, when we play that animation, it just it shatters the text here. But all right, so when I play that, it pretty much shatters all of the text, as you can see there. You know, you can play around with this and whatnot. If we render this real quick, this should look pretty neat. So that does look pretty nice, even though we don't have the best smoothing settings selected. So yeah, that's that. Now this is playing at normal speed. So to get this to slow down, to play it in slow-mo, we're going to go to Edit, and we're going to come down to Project Settings. We're going to go to the Dynamics tab and make sure that we're going to actually keyframe the time so that it plays it back slower. So it's actually in slow motion, and typically 11-12% is pretty slow and it's still pretty good. So on the first frame here, if you want it to start on the first frame, what you need to do is control click on the time scale, like so, and that creates a keyframe. Now go ahead and skip ahead 1 or 2 frames, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to go ahead 1 frame, and you'll notice the red goes away. That's good, as long as you got this red box still here. From here you can go ahead and change the time scale. I'm going to change it to about 12%. Second you do that and you make any change, it'll automatically turn the outline yellow. And what you need to do again is control click on the yellow and it turns it red, and that creates a keyframe. So now it'll play it at 12% speed. So if I start this back, you'll notice down here in the bottom corner, for a second it starts off at 100 and goes down to 12%. Now, if you notice, the text is shattering apart at that speed. However, the sphere is still coming out pretty fast, because I have the emitter. I have the speed set up to about 1,500. So The sphere still comes out fairly quickly, but the text breaks apart slowly, as you can see there. And so that's pretty much that. Now, obviously, if you're playing this in slow motion, it's gonna, if you want a longer animation, just increase your frame rates down here by highlighting this. Let's do like 200 for example. 200 divided by 30 frames per second is roughly about 7 seconds. So 200 frames is about 7 seconds. So you can kind of estimate how long this would take. 800 is about 28, 29, 30 seconds, somewhere around there. And so there you go. That would be your animation. And that's pretty much how I created my last animation. And, just render this quick frame here. And we'll kind of see some of the nice reflections and shadows that we got being going on here. Alright, so that frame rendered out. So this is what it's going to look like in the end, like I showed you before, just one particular frame. And that does look pretty nice. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, one more thing I want to talk about is you notice this gray here on the inside of the pieces that are broke. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe you wanted a different color. Well, to fix that, just select one of these options here, because whenever you use Throwsing, it breaks it into all these pieces. Just select one of these and click on this right here. This is your interior, the inside of the material, what color it is. Click here, and you notice it's probably going to create a whole bunch of materials down here. Well, how do you know which material actually is going to affect this one right here, the inside? Well, whenever you select one, the actual one you click on over here will highlight down here. So you'll notice a orange outline, and that indicates that this material here is going to affect all of these on the inside. So say I want to change the inside of the text when it breaks. I'll just double click here. I'll go up and make it a different color. So say like a, I don't know, bright yellow, and turn on reflection. And once again, I like the Fresnel look, so I'm going to turn on Fresnel reflection, bring the mix strength to about 4%, the brightness to about 4%. And you can see here it automatically goes ahead and changes all of the colors of the inside of the pieces of the inside. So now if we render that, you'll be able to see the color like there's color to the inside of the text. Alright, so you can see now that we have the inside of the text that breaks is now yellow and not that kind of dull gray color, which adds a little bit more to the video, makes it a little bit more interesting to look at. And by doing it that way, it's sure a lot more easier than going on each individual material here and changing the color, because that actually didn't know that in one of my videos at the time, and I was doing this manually one by one, and obviously if you got a lot of pieces like this for each letter, that would take you all day. So it's very good that we have that option to just do it with one few single clicks to color all of it. So if we watch this one more time, this is our animation here. And like say you want it to be in slow motion part of the way, go back into your project settings and pretty much do the same thing. So control click again, go ahead 2 or 3 frames, and then say bring this up to 100%, press enter, and then control click. And now from here on out it plays at 100%. So that way we can start off fast, go slow, and then whatever frame you selected, it'll go back to 100%, as you can see there. And that's how you kind of add slow-mo and then fast motion at the same time. So there you go, guys. That's pretty much it. That'll cover it for this tutorial. I'm actually planning on getting a MXL 990 microphone, external microphone, to record these tutorials with and stuff like that. And that should give us, or give you guys some better audio, because right now I'm using kind of a cheap mic, so the audio quality is not that great. So if I get that, when I get that new microphone, my audio will sound a lot better. And yeah, so that's that. So that'll do it for this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it helped you out, and I'll see you guys next time. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe, and I guess that's it. I'll see you guys later.